Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Michael Folguera, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Folguera.
We're the Biscayne Boys. I'd just like to point out, I like the jersey, man.
Just I wear the same dingy shirts every time we do it, and I've been noticing, you have a theme going.
Yeah, I've
been
you try
trying
to wear
week
Miami Heat
to
stuff.
wear some Miami Heat
I think I'm gonna start throwing in some different stuff. Like I was thinking about that. I was like, am I trying too hard with the Miami Heat stuff? No, you're not.
I'm just treating it. I'm under what would you say?
Talk
Undermining it.
Talk more to them, like
I'm undermining it because I think that I'm not trying hard enough to be professional enough in this podcast that we have going. So I'm gonna try to step up my game.
Yeah. Just
talk a little bit more into the mic.
Just make sure you're talking into the mic.
I'm just joking.
Because
all right, let's get the show on the road. I'm excited.
I feel bad when I talk about stuff that's like in the room, or in the that's.
You
in
should
the
feel
video,
bad about correcting
because
me.
I feel bad about the people that don't watch on YouTube.
No, they think you're rude. I've spoken to the fans, and they say the way you treat me is very, very, very poorly.
How'd you get in contact with the fans? Because you don't have any social media.
Well, all 5 of them I've been talking to, and they say they speak their mind.
All right, good.
Let's move into this. This has been a good week for us.
No, not really.
Yeah, it is.
It's been okay.
We won one,
and we lost one really bad.
Hey, we're 500 on the week
far. Let's get into our Heat Week segment. First game of the week came against the Portland Trailblazers. We won that one 118
or 108.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut you off because I'm gonna handle this. You step back.
Make sure you're talking into the mic because I'm not hearing your voice isn't picking up too much.
It can't get closer than this, man.
Okay, I'm just saying.
You should give me one of those, like the ones on the ears.
You see that? Nothing's picking up.
Bah.
You see?
But how, dude? Look how.
Don't yell. Because you're talking like this. So obviously.
But dude, look. This should be what did you buy?
Not bad.
What hardware did you get? Because this should be enough for you to hear this. Look how close I am. I can't talk like that the whole time.
I'm just saying, you got to talk into the mic, bro. I make the sacrifice. No one wants to see your face.
Yeah, that's why when the videos come out, the mic is covering your whole face.
Yeah, because I talk into the mic.
But it looks ridiculous.
I cater to my fans.
You look like Bane.
I cater to the listeners that are listening only to the audio, okay?
You look like Bane.
Shh, gosh. It's so inconsiderate, guys. I'm sorry about this.
My gosh.
I'm putting out a new ad for any co-host. Job requirements, none. Just talking to the mic. Your ability to talk into the mic. That's all.
You're stressing me out.
Okay, first game of the week came against the Portland Trailblazers. We won that one.
I can't see your face. Can you just move away from the mic just a little bit? Thank you. That's perfect.
We won that one. It was a pretty good game. We kind of just more or less dominated the whole time. Don't look at me.
I'm just listening.
We more or less dominated the whole time, I felt.
Yeah, they only outscored us in the fourth quarter.
So it was pretty nice. You could tell it was a team. We looked like a team that was frustrated after losing a few at home consecutively. To get out on the road and do something like that against a really solid team that's fighting for that 4th spot in in the Western Conference. We held Lillard to 13 points, which is pretty impressive. He shot 5 for 15 from the field and 2 for 10 from the 3. McCollum, on the other hand, had a really big game for them, 33 points, 7 for 14 from 3, 13 for 25 from the field. But we shot 54% as a team, which is amazing. Our free throw percentage was 84%, which I think we're averaging now 68. So that's a really good night from the free throw line. 3-point percentage was at 31%, which is all right. We completely demolished them on the boards, 46-33. Only 12 turnovers, which is great. It was just a solid performance all around.
Yeah.
We can get some input from you, Jordan.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way.
Okay. Any standout performers on our team? Oh, Whiteside. Whiteside had a huge game. 11 for 12 from the field, 28 points, 11 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 for 6 from the free throw line.
No, Whiteside had 4 steals, 2 blocks.
Oh yeah, my bad. I confusing him and J Rich. I gotta zoom this in. But yeah, Whiteside played great, which is kind of funny, cause Joseph Nurkic isn't a terrible center, so you would think that he would kind of be almost balanced out a little bit. It wouldn't be such a dominating performance. You expect him to play good against teams like like Brooklyn that don't have really a huge presence in the paint. So like it's really nice to see him have a performance like that. I don't know. You want to help me out here?
What with that game?
Yeah, I'm like a train going off the tracks, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really remember anything that stood out.
You don't have to be upset at me for telling you to talk.
I'm not upset. I just don't know anything else. I don't know anything else that stood out.
I guess we could just leave it at that. Wade had 22 points, which is nice. Speaking of Dwayne Wade, we'll get into it with the Sacramento game. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good performance all around. There's not much to say. Like, there's really not a lot to say when we have games like this because it's just we played great. It's as simple as that. There's no real kind of like things that we could take away from it. You take away way more from a loss than you do a win, in my eyes. So I guess we'll just go on to the next game. Next game came against Sacramento. I lost my mouse cursor. There we go. Next game came against Sacramento. We lost that one 102-96, which was a super, super disappointing loss. We got outscored by 14 points in the fourth quarter, which is ridiculous. That was it was upsetting. Like we were up by a lot and we ended up kind of just giving the game away. Whiteside again had a pretty big game, 17 points, 19 boards. But I felt like we were playing really good and then we ended up just kind of like they outscored us only by 2 points in the second and a point in the third, but we had a really big first against them. I would have expected us to close out the game a little bit better because I felt like we haven't really been struggling too much in the fourth quarters, like as we did in the earlier in the season. So that game was like so frustrating, man. It kind of like I'm the only one talking here. Can you say something, please, God?
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. You don't have any thoughts? Any thoughts whatsoever?
Yeah, that we lost. We lost. What do you want me to tell you?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's like really, I'm just really disappointed because I feel like this has been it's been a reoccurring theme with this team. We've kind of it's just been inconsistency the whole season. We'll have really big games where we look amazing, and then we'll have games like this where we just kind of shit the bed, and it's like what happened, Like it's like it's kind of like it makes me think like it's not too late. It's not too late yet to just kind of say fuck it and completely give up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean we could do it. We just have to start now.
Yeah, like it'd have to be now. I think depending what the fuck's going on with my computer. That was crazy. Depending on I think our performance now heading into All-Star break, I think we only have 3 games left, and then like if we don't do anything with these 3 games and we end up come out of All-Star break, like a lot of teams come out really like pumped and they have a bunch of good games. They go on a nice little streak. The rest is what they needed, the vacation. But if we come out like flat-footed from the All-Star break, I think it shows that we've decided our path more or less for this season. We're still in a position where if we start losing games now, we could get a pretty solid lottery pick, like top 10. So, like I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think this draft's not good enough though to like get like a 10th pick. Like if you're gonna tank, you should have tanked from the beginning to try to get a top 3 or top 4 or 5. Because the draft, I don't know. I mean, obviously March Madness is still coming soon or whatever. So we'll see how like if other people make names or whatever for themselves in there. But I mean, right now it's like really top heavy. So it's not. It just sucks because we're in a tight spot. Like if we're gonna do it, we have to start losing now. But in my eyes, there's no point for us to compete because of like the standings in the East. Like I know anything can happen, and the playoffs are a different atmosphere. But like Milwaukee and Toronto, they're 2 teams that'll completely walk through us if we make the playoffs. And like that's where we're looking at right now. We're looking at 7th, 8th seed. It's not like that team, that Boston Celtics team a few years ago that was the 1st seed. Where I like that was the year that we went on the 30-11 the 30-11 run. That was the year that I really wanted to make the playoffs because I felt like that Boston Celtics team wasn't that good.
So like now it's like Milwaukee looks amazing, and I mean Toronto's kind of slowed down a little bit, but still that's not a team that I feel comfortable with in a 7-game series.
Yeah, Milwaukee looks really good. Like, dude, I don't know. Milwaukee might win the championship this year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They have what it takes, and I mean I know they lost to the Warriors, but I don't know. Inside the paint, they could really like give the Warriors trouble. DeMarcus Cousins isn't a great defender, so you don't have to worry about him in the paint on defense. Like offensively, maybe, but they have enough guys that could guard too, you know. And then getting Mirotic mixed with Brook Lopez, which is also doing really good this year in blocks. Giannis, you already know, they could really cause some trouble. I don't know. So I don't think it's worth it either to make an 8th or 7th seed because it's gonna suck. Like if you're gonna fight all year just to make that low of a seed, you know, like it's not about just making it. Like I like it. I'd rather just make the playoffs just to say we did, but it's just gonna suck because you know you're going in there and yeah, everything resets in the playoffs. Everyone starts 0-0 or 0-0, but it's like to me it's not enough. Like those teams are really set.
Yeah,
really, really set. Like you're gonna have to really figure out. You're gonna either have to have an amazing game plan or some sort of superstar power as well to like combat theirs because they're at another level right now.
Yeah, and like us, we're not even figured out.
Yeah,
it's not like we have a rotation figured out.
Exactly, we're always changing, and there's always injuries, and there's always a new rotation, and it's just not. I don't know. It's tough right now.
Yeah, as an organization, the Miami Heat are in a really tough spot because there's like. You know, like you got to make a decision now, and like knowing our past, it's probably gonna be to continue competing. And honestly, we might be bad enough to continue competing and still not make the playoffs and still end up in the lottery, even if it's like a late 13th, 14th pick. But yeah, like it's kind of like a shitty spot to be in right now. Honestly, I'm not mad with either choice, so to speak. You know, like if we do decide to tank or we do decide to continue competing, either way, like I don't really care where the team decides to go because honestly, it's like a win-win situation. Seeing your team in the playoffs is always fun, even if you know you don't stand a chance against whoever you're playing against. And getting a early draft pick is super exciting. You know, to see like a young guy come into the league and see what they can do. Obviously, if he's not a bust. But I think that does it for Heat Week. Honestly, I'm not sure what else to talk about on this episode. Like, I mean, the Lakers, seem to be going through like not some problems, but like the chemistry, like that seemed to be like an issue in the Indiana game. Like they looked really bad in that Indiana game. They lost by 42. It's LeBron's biggest loss in his career. And then but then they bounced back really hard against Boston. Like they set a franchise high for threes. Rondo ended up hitting a game winner. So like, you know, like it's interesting. It's crazy how like the Lakers are like what 9th, 10th seed in the West, and it's like still all eyes are on them. So I know like there's a lot of teams that probably that bothers, you know, like the teams that are like 3rd or 4th, you know, like a Portland or even like a Denver that like it's kind of like shitty because you know they're a way better team, but no one's really paying attention to them. But yeah, like it's kind of funny that whole LeBron effect thing. But that was a super exciting game. I don't know if you guys caught it. That was like a part of me thought that was like the best game of the week, but then that Thunder Rockets game was really exciting.
Yeah, that was a really good game.
And then that was a really good game. They ended up coming back. They were down 22 at the half.
Yeah.
Thunder ended up outscoring the Rockets like 42-20 in the third quarter.
Yeah, PG had like 28 or something or 30. Or 26 in the second half.
Yeah, he ended with like 42, I think, or something like that. Speaking of Paul George, I guess we could talk about like an MVP race. Who's your pick, more or less?
I don't know. I like too many other guys, so I don't want to pick because I like them all. Like I like Giannis, I like PG.
It's tough because like James Harden's having a really good
game. And he is like the most valuable player on his team because without them they wouldn't be winning. But he's just not good like in the playoffs. He's not a good player. Like even if his stats are like what's it called, inflated in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. Like, he just can't win games in the playoffs. And last year it showed it. It proved it yet again. Like, he can't do it. And it might be me being harsh, because I love the way he plays and it's exciting, and I think he is one of the best one-on-one players in the game of basketball ever. But in the playoffs, he just can't close games out. He had 2 chances back to back to do it, and they were up. They weren't down. They were up in both of those games in the half, and he didn't do it. So
yeah, and
he didn't step up.
And the Thunder, the Rockets Thunder game was like a perfect example of, like, I mean, like, obviously he's closed out a bunch of games this year, but like,
yeah,
that was like a perfect example. One of the last possessions, he has the ball, Russell's on him, he chucks up a 3, and like right away he tries to draw the foul. Yeah, because Russell was like kind of close. Russell contested him really well, and then he ended up like kind of just like not throwing the game away, but it goes to show you that, like, dude, it could only do so much for you, you know? And like, in the playoffs, that's just not gonna fly.
Yeah, and he's having a good game. Like, he's a good year. His scoring is ridiculous right now. Like, he's on track for a ridiculous scoring title. But my thing is just, like, I know Russell and PG maybe are also not like the best guys to compare in the playoffs, because maybe they have their issues and they choke and this and that. But I'm just like more about not giving it to like someone more than once unless they're just so dominant, you know? Because if that was the case, then I would be complaining more about LeBron not winning it, because LeBron is the most valuable player on his team whenever he plays. But it's just, I wouldn't, if James Harden wins, I'm not upset, because I think he is deserving. But I wouldn't mind someone else to get it. Like, I really want Giannis to get one. I know he's not going to get one, but I would like Kawhi to get one. I would like PG to get one. Like, these are just guys that I think, if their years are, and PG's having a really good year, but I mean, again, it all depends. It's a really big political vote. It's not like necessarily always to the best guy, you know? Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I completely agree. It's tough for me to see anyone else getting it other than James Harden with the year he's having.
Yeah.
There's a few games. There's a good amount of games after All-Star break, so don't get me wrong. His numbers could decline. But he's averaging like 36, 37 points a game, something like that, which is fucking ridiculous. And then he has like the 8 rebounds and the 6 assists. So, you know, like, even though really, like, in my eyes, it would probably be Giannis.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think Giannis is having an amazing year. And I think it shows with the success that Milwaukee's having.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Giannis will win it eventually.
Yeah, I think he will. He's still really young. So
just completely different game styles, too. Because, like, James Harden, man, he also plays, like, he makes some really just poor and selfish decisions constantly, you know? It's no different. Like, the people that complain about Russell are the same people that should be complaining about the way James Harden plays, because he, more often than not, will have fast breaks, 3-on-2s, 3-on-1s, and he'll hold it all the way to the rim, which is, like, ridiculous. Like, he doesn't play offense correctly sometimes. Like, no. And I know that's maybe opinionated, but it's just unfortunate because his numbers are crazy. But it's because the guy has the ball every possession, almost the whole possession.
Yeah.
Every possession, almost the whole possession. When he's in the game, he's gonna have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Giannis is not. Giannis plays the game as, like, unselfish and correctly as you could see from an MVP candidate. He plays very, like, I don't know. He just plays well. Like, yeah, he has his moments. I'm not saying he's perfect either, but Giannis is also another one. He'll win it, though, eventually. He might not get it this year because his numbers just quite aren't there, but they're not quite there, sorry, but he'll get it eventually.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. The offense that, like, Houston plays is really messed up.
Yeah.
Like, it's like every single possession is, like, getting late into the shot clock. And, like, don't get me wrong, there's times where they play really fast and, like, you know, they're getting out in transition. And, like, they play really well when they play like that. That's, like, their best basketball, when they're playing quick, getting shots early in the shot clock. They have pretty solid rebounders. I know Capella's been out, but still, like, when he's healthy, and, like, guys like Nene and now Kenneth Faried. But, like, if you watch Houston's games, a lot of the possessions, it's, like, getting, like, into, like, sub 7 second shot clocks. James Harden, like, getting ISO, taking a really long time, you know, to either, like, whether it be chuck up a 3, go to the lane, find someone cutting, you know, like, it just, like, it's not the most reliable basketball because, like, it doesn't give them a chance for second chance points. And like I said, they have really solid rebounders and guys that just hustle, you know, like guys like PJ Tucker. So, like, the way they play isn't right, and it shows when the playoffs come around, and that's why they're most successful when CP3 is kind of like the floor general, not so much James Harden.
Yeah.
And it showed last year in the playoffs in the Western Conference Finals, losing CP3. That's what lost them the series against the Warriors. But that's why like I don't necessarily like James Harden's fun to watch, but I don't necessarily agree with the way he plays. Like it's like what Kobe said, the way he plays, that's not gonna win him a championship by any means. The way Giannis plays, the way PG's playing right now, the way that I would even say like Stephen Curry's playing because he is in the MVP race. Those guys, the way they play, that's like championship basketball, you know? Because like it's not really all about like those guys could easily average 36 points a game.
Yeah, exactly.
All those guys could easily average 36 points a game.
But that's not what it's about, and that's not the only way to help your team. Like, I mean, I don't know. He played so much better last year and the year before when he like incorporated. I mean, obviously Clint's not playing, so that's maybe also a big reason as to why he's playing the way he is. But just last year and the year before, he played so much better because he played like that. Like, he incorporated teammates a lot. Like, and it was like a high pick and roll, lob, or layup every time. And I don't know. I like that version better. This whole thing where it's just like dribble, like, and then just like take a bad shot or a really well contested shot. It's just not the way. I don't know. It's like that. It's just simple. Like, it's as simple as that. It's not gonna win you a championship. And you said it perfectly. Like PG, Curry, like all of those guys, KD, they could be selfish and drop 35 to 40 points a game and probably average that through a season. Like, it's slight work for them, but that's the difference. Like, it's not about just, okay, let me try to average as many points as possible, which I think that's like, honestly, he's going about it in an immature way. Like, I think he like had a stretch of good games and then he realized I could just try to get 30 and like every night. Yeah, and that's how he's doing it.
He's trying to continue that 30 streak. Like, he's trying so hard to do that.
But that's what it is. I think he's just like at that point where he's like, okay, I had a good stretch of games. Like, now let me try to get to 30 every night, and that's what he's doing. But it's not.
Another guy that I think would be in the MVP race if it wasn't for the injury and now the whole ordeal that's going on, Anthony Davis.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he's playing really good this year.
He's averaging amazing numbers, and it sucks because they're gonna decline so much now with New Orleans.
Has he averaged? He hasn't won MVP?
No, he was I think a finalist one year though.
That would be cool.
But speaking of Anthony Davis, New Orleans was warned by the NBA that if every game they sat him,
they would get fined $100,000.
Yeah,
but then. I don't know. You made a good point,
which is pretty crazy. But then my thing was like the whole Kawhi situation last season. Like, how is it okay for
a player to select that, like to pick not to?
Exactly. Like,
because if an organization can't have the right to sit a player out because they don't want him to play because of whatever issues or differences.
Yeah.
And technically, if you're healthy and you're cleared, you shouldn't necessarily be able to like say, "Oh, I don't want to play."
Yeah,
for a whole season.
Kawhi, it wasn't even like a. Like he wasn't on the bench, whether like not dressed out. Like, he wasn't with the team at all. They were in the playoffs. He wasn't with the team. He wasn't like recovering from surgery or anything like that. Like, he was good from what I understand. Like, he was ready to go. So like for him to not even be with the team, it's kind of messed up how the NBA is able to find an organization, but they can't find a player. You know, like. Even I think if I was an organization, I'd find a player for like, because you know how they find players for speaking out and stuff. I'd find a player for not playing. Like, they're just choosing not to. But Anthony Davis's numbers are gonna decline, I think, drastically now, because they just I forgot who they played the other day, which was like the big is New Orleans gonna play him or not, and they ended up playing him. He got booed.
Which was like ridiculous to me, and then. I mean, he still played good. He had like 32 points in 25 minutes, so he had a really good night.
He didn't play the whole fourth.
Yeah, he didn't play the whole fourth.
They're going about it such a wrong way, though, man.
They're just like really like just sore losers, and it's not even about that. It's like, listen, you tried your best to give him what he wanted, and I'm sure they think like we could continue to get people here to play with him and give him something more to try to work with. But at the end of the day, it's like he was respectful about it. He was honest. He said, I've given you guys as much as I could. And he just said, I just want to start over. Basically, I mean, this isn't verbatim. This is just me kind of paraphrasing it a little bit. He basically said, I just want to start over somewhere else. But I do want to say that I have tried with you guys. And, but New Orleans is really handling it terrible. And I mean, it is what it is, and it sucks. Like, but I think, for example, I think some players are upset, but they're players that also, like, I don't think they care. Like, the organization is so upset, and, like, certain players are not even that upset. Like, I mean, Drew Holiday came out and said, like, one of the biggest reasons he stayed there was because of Anthony Davis. So, of course, it sucks. But you have to think, Anthony Davis has been there for a couple of years now, dude. You know, like, he tried, man.
I think it's been 7. He's 25. He entered the league at like 18, 19. So yeah, like
yeah, he's tried. I just think he's respectful, and you said it perfectly. He gave them a chance to get someone for him, and I'm not saying that they should have taken it. I would have taken it because basically you're not guaranteed to re-sign any of those guys, but like the Lakers trade, like what they offered was basically a full rebuild. Like, and I'm talking about 2, 3, 4, 5-year rebuild in one trade. That's what they got. They got all these young guys and picks, bam, just in one shot, which will take them years to get that if they did it like the normal way. But and even though there is no guarantee of signing those guys over, but basically he gave them a chance to get people for him, and they didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I know. You look at the players that they got, like the Lakers were offering.
And they're not exactly.
They were offering Lonzo Ball, which he's a top 3 pick. Brandon Ingram, he's a top 3 pick. Kyle Kuzma, promising young player.
Really good. Like a lot more.
That the Lakers got so lucky.
Yeah,
on.
Kuzma's
They
a way
him
better.
in the second round or the end of the first.
Yeah.
You know, like that doesn't happen all the time.
Kuzma is playing better than what he was projected to play.
Oh,
or be.
100%.
Like
Zubac, same exact thing as Kuzma. Drafted late. Ended up being way better than what he expected.
Exactly.
So like it's I don't understand what.
And
that's 4 picks.
And another
that's technically 4 picks right there because those guys are still really young.
And if you're not only looking at the picks alone, if you just think. These are also guys that it's not like, oh, we've never seen them play before, or they've only played 10 games or 20 games. That's all we've witnessed here and there, like garbage time. No, these are guys that like have started. They all have played significant minutes, and you already seen them. They have a track record in the NBA. You've seen them play. You know how they play, and you know what you're getting. And that's like another big deal. Like they were giving them not like these are some just random guys we drafted that you don't know. Maybe you could develop them. No, like these are guys that are names. Like Lonzo Ball is a name in the NBA. Kuzma is a name in the NBA, and Brandon Ingram is another one. Like, I don't know. I think that New Orleans had a shot. Like, especially like I'm not saying. I mean, where are they at? They're
low in the standings.
Yeah, they're in 13th place. Even if Anthony Davis like has the season of his life, like it's not saying like they might make the playoffs, but what are you guys gonna do this year? Like, you're not going to do anything this year. So what's the point of keeping him? Like, what are you going to do? Might as well just start early, get it over with.
And they were giving him cap relief. They were going to take on Solomon Hill's contract.
Yeah, exactly. I
don't get it. Like, it was being dumb. They're going to end up circling back around and taking a deal from LA, and it's going to end up being worse than what they were initially offered.
Yeah, I think
that final deal before the deadline
was
that's the best offer they were gonna get.
It was amazing.
From any team.
And it was, to me, it was so not obvious, but I mean, we called it, or we said, like I said it at least on that last podcast. I said, for sure that the Lakers were gonna offer everyone, and that's what they did. They offered every young guy. No one was off limits, and it just, I mean, it was a little messed up, like. But the Pelicans, like, they showed them they were serious, at least. The Lakers showed the Pelicans, hey, look, we're serious. We really want this guy, and we're willing to give you everything we have, basically, for him.
That shit, though. Like,
what?
Like, how do you come back from that?
What? Like, offer everyone and then, like expect the players to be all right?
Yeah. Like,
yeah, I've always thought that to trade is super iffy in the NBA.
How do the players think, like, bro, these guys were going to get rid of me?
Yeah,
I could have been living in New Orleans. I could have been, like, looking for a house in New Orleans.
I've always thought, like, the trade thing is such a touchy subject. I've always thought trading in the NBA or any sport for that matter is like, it's kind of crazy to think like if you are in the trade talks and then it falls through and you're like, wow, like now I have to play for this guy or this team and just act like everything's okay and I want to win, like no thank you, you know. But
and then you have no choice because if you don't play well, then
it looks bad. And if you also like are rebellious towards that or like kind of mad, then that looks bad too because it shows your attitude. So it kind of is like you're just trapped to like play good, like you have no choice.
It sucks. It's crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what New Orleans gets for it. My thing is like they might think they could get a better offer from Boston, but Boston is not going to offer a lot. They're not going to give him Jason Tatum if they know they have no chance of signing him in the offseason because it'd be a waste of a trade.
Yeah, the only way Boston trades as if they really in their hearts believe we can sign this guy at the end. Like, yes, he wants to go somewhere else, but we know we can sign him at the end of the season. That's the only way they take that risk. But
I think Danny Ainge is kind of like
that
in that
that
mindset.
Like
he has that mentality,
definitely.
I can sign this guy.
Yeah,
like,
for
I
sure.
know he wants to go somewhere else, but I can do it.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
Is like
crazy.
It's kind of scary because think about it. You give him, let's say you give him Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, a bunch of picks that you have.
I mean, honestly,
I'm just saying, like, this.
It's better
this
for
is
us.
like a whatever deal.
No,
but
if it happens,
this isn't a real deal. But I'm saying, like, let's say Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, whatever picks they have, and then he ends up leaving in the offseason.
But that's better for us.
Boston's in like a terrible
If
spot.
that happens, I would appreciate that. Like, I would actually really, really like if that happened. I'm sorry for the Boston fans, but that would work for us in the East. If Boston gives them everything they have, and then he doesn't resign, and then they're screwed. I mean, they might get some of the guys back they traded if they don't get signed by anyone. Well, they will. Boston will have to like scoop them up.
Yeah,
it won't happen
I
though.
think you have to wait a year.
Yeah, it won't happen though. It's not that easy. It's but in general, like I think the only way Boston really offers a lot is if they believe, hey, look, I don't care what he says, we have a chance of signing him at the end of this year. And I think they do believe that, though. So they don't put it past them. They're crazy enough, especially with the way this season's going for them. They're crazy enough to make something happen. Other than that, though, like he kind of said where he wanted to go. I think Milwaukee and New York, the Knicks,
New York,
were other landing spots.
The two LA teams, the Clippers and the Lakers.
So I don't know if he goes to LA, like the Lakers, that would be pretty. I don't know, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like to think that he'll join up with LeBron. I really want that to happen, but.
Yeah, and I'm interested. Like, I know a lot of people have been talking about like the Lakers, because like everyone says that the Lakers are gonna get everyone. Like that they're gonna get KD, Clay.
Yeah.
Like all those people in the offseason, which like, don't get me wrong.
No, I know rumors now with Kyrie going over there.
I obviously don't think they're gonna get every single person, but I guarantee you they're gonna pick up one of those guys.
I think they're
gonna sign one of them.
They're gonna pick up one big guy. I know for a fact. Like just because one, it's Magic Johnson, 2, LeBron is there, and just 3, since the start, since they were getting the young guys, they always said like they were gonna have enough money to sign 2 superstars, like we said before. But there is a chance and a possibility that they pick up even one more guy. So let's see if
I think they sign someone, whether it be KD, even though I'm not too sure. I was on that KD train to LA for a long time.
Me too.
But now not so much. I think it's either going to be Clay or Kyrie. Those are going to be one of the 2 guys that they sign. And I think they're going to end up trading for Anthony Davis in the offseason.
That'll be perfect. That'll work out.
I think and that's going to give LeBron a really good shot at
a ring.
At a title run.
It definitely will. It just sucks because then like Anthony Davis is like frail, and so is Kyrie.
Yeah,
they're both like these little fragile guys, man. Like
one of the guys, the Clay is like, to me, like I thinking about it, like that guy doesn't get injured.
No, he doesn't have to do nothing. He just like literally sits in a corner and just waits for the ball to be given him.
Take 4 dribbles and he drops 60 points.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
there's no strain, no stress on his body.
All the stress that he takes is like on defense, and even then, it's not that fucking hard.
Yeah,
like it's not as crazy.
Nah, not when you have KD on every help. Every time someone blows by, KD's there to try to get a block. You know who's pretty good on that team that helps him too is Festus Ezeli. No, Looney.
Yeah,
that guy's ridiculous, dude. He's also really good. He's like progressive.
Really good.
No, yeah, and he's not with that bullshit that they are. Like he's like super kept himself, like super respectful.
He's turned into a really good player.
Yeah, even offensively, he's good on the boards and he's good on defense.
But like it's just being like it's
just a winning mentality.
Yeah, dude. Like you look at even JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee is a completely different person.
Yeah,
when he was like 3 years
exactly
ago
when you're in
with them.
Yeah, when you go to a team like that and you learn to win is what it is. It's like you're part of like a championship culture. It's completely different, man. Like you just like everyone gives this extra effort that wasn't there before. It's like this, they have more heart for the game and stuff, and you can tell JaVale is one of those guys though that's like ridiculous. Like he's just such a nuisance to play against. He moves so well. Yeah. He guards like anyone really. He cleans up the boards, gets blocks, he does everything. But yeah, in general, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's gonna be a big one though when he leaves, like to see where he goes.
Who?
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I think if the Lakers end up not trading for him and then signing him in the 2020 offseason or whatever,
yeah,
and they keep all the young guys and sign him,
Yeah.
Magic Johnson goes down as one of the greatest
Masterminds
in him and Robert Pelinka or whatever. They go down as some of the best front office managers of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Pat Riley was. Now Pat Riley's a fucking crazy old man. He's deranged. Gosh.
Yeah, man, I'm hurting right now, dude.
It's so bad.
I'm a little upset about everything.
Man. The tone went from really nice, funny, joking, talkative at the beginning of this episode. Then we started talking about the Heat, and it was a big old F us to the face, it was so bad.
Yeah, the Heat are in a really tight spot.
It depresses me to talk about it. It's Dwayne Wade's farewell tour.
It's not okay.
It's Dwayne Wade's farewell tour, and it's all about him. And we'll become a real basketball team next season, because this season it's a joke. It's all about him.
Yeah, it drives me crazy.
I think that about does it for this episode, dude. Oh man, this episode. I'm sorry if it feels so it just doesn't I don't know. There wasn't anything to talk about really. I mean, maybe we missed something, but talking about the
other stuff is just regular stuff. I was gonna say the game winner, which is not a big deal, and the loss that the Celtics had.
Yeah.
But that's just normal basketball. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not something significant.
And I feel like we've talked about Milwaukee being so good and Toronto being so good so much in the past, and we've talked about the Lakers a lot. We talked about them this episode, so it's there wasn't really a lot that went on.
Just everything's kind of cruising.
No, we talked about the trade deadline.
Yeah.
It's right now after the trade deadline passes, right before All-Star break. It's such a
boring. It's almost downtime. It's
before All-Star break.
Everyone's trying to either get over the games they have so they can make it to All-Star break, or scoop some other wins up right before to try to head in with some momentum. But I mean, everything's more or less the same. The Warriors are still playing good. DeMarcus Cousins seems to be working well with them. The Nuggets are still playing fine. Everything's just cruising. There's nothing really. I mean, OKC's starting to make a little push. They're definitely
10-1 in their last 11 games.
Yeah, they had a really good stretch. So it's little things like that, but more or less, I mean, there's nothing really super drastic happening.
I'm sorry if it felt disorganized this week, because really we went into this episode okay, we're gonna talk about the Heat. Then we talked about the Heat, and it was okay, what do we talk about now? Literally, that's it was just, we didn't really plan anything, but yeah, I'm sure the episodes will start getting more exciting now. For the All-Star break, that's always a fun time, Everyone's in a better mood, because at least we'll be, because we don't have to stress about basketball for a few days, the Heat, and yeah, after that, it's just waiting for the playoffs, which the playoffs are gonna be so exciting. These episodes are gonna be crazy during the playoffs. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Be sure to follow us on social media if you aren't already. It's on Instagram, Biscayne Boys Podcast, and Twitter at Biscayne Boys Pod. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and turn on post notifications if you want to. It doesn't matter. If you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on iTunes and Spotify, head over to the YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. That about does it from us, though, guys. We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week.